Maker Max here. I'm going to show you how to make some really cool Christmas decorations that also double as Halloween decorations. So on these poles you can hang your lights or Halloween decorations. Easy to make, easy to store. Let's get started. Alright, what we need to do is come up with a way to take this 2x4 and mount it to this fence post that I purchased. Fence post is 6 feet long. Problem is I put it on here and it rocks. So we're going to cut a groove in this on the table saw for the fence post to fit. Alright, I cut a groove with the table saw. So now I'll be able to set this right in there. Alright, and we're going to weld some little tabs on it to bolt it in place. So I cut this at a bit of an angle. Put it right here. 20 inches down. Now when I do this, I'm going to leave the front edge sticking up just a hair. So then as I tighten it down, it'll pull against the metal pipe. Now when these two screws go in, it's going to close that edge down there as it pushes against the pipe. Just going to put a coat of paint on this. It is galvanized so it won't rust, but I want everything to blend together. When you're spray painting, a bunch of light coats is better than one heavy one that just drips and runs. So what I've done here is I've run a wire from the bottom of the post all the way up. And then this piece is going to run out one way, and I have another one that's going to run out the other way. So we have to make a solder joint right here. Now remember, when you're soldering, you want to heat up the copper wire and melt your solder on the copper wire. We're not melting the solder on the gun. We're trying to melt it on just the copper. So I'm going to put the solder right there. There we go. See how it's just melting, and the capillary action pulls that solder right in. Alright, before I make the final connections, I put a little heat shrink on here so I can seal these up and insulate them later. Right, I have solder on both sides, so now all I need to do is put the two pieces together and just hold it with my soldering iron. And because there's solder on both, once the solder melts, it'll just connect them together. Easy peasy. Now we can slide the heat shrink over and seal them up. Now this side has 2 layers of heat shrink, this side has 1, and I'm going to be putting this outside, so I'm going to just cover it with a nice layer of dielectric grease. You can get this at the hardware store in the electrical section, and this just helps to keep moisture out. So as long as this goo is in there, the moisture can't go in. Then I slid one more big old piece of heat shrink on there. So put that in. All right, and then heat shrink the ends of it first. All right, heat shrink the ends first. All right, there you go. You have a nice waterproof joint. Good to go. Well, weatherproof. I wouldn't put it underwater. So this end of the wire is going to go on the end of the T for the post. So it's going to need to have a plug on it. So I purchased these. I'll have the description in the bottom. And what you do is there's pins in here, and those pins just puncture right into the wire to make the connection. But because this is going outside, I'm just going to add a little dielectric grease in here on the pins, and then a little bit on the end there for the wire. And the way these work, you take the wire and you just stick it in here, like so. And then all you got to do is just slide this little clip right on. Alright, and as you push the clip on, it punctures the wire, and boom, you have an outlet. Easy peasy. They also come in male ends as well, plugging in. Alright, they're used for Christmas lights. I'll place my plug out here, and I can just zip tie it all the way in. Keep the wire nice and neat. Alright, these are the pumpkins I'm going to use. I bought these at Home Depot, and there's some kind of polyurethane, and they're going to be hanging off of the posts that we made earlier. First, we're going to drill a hole in the top. We're going to feed some galvanized wire through. And from here to the top of the loop is 14.5 inches. There we go. Got one pumpkin ready to put on the post. So here we have bolted in the bottom. The nuts are welded on, so I don't have to use a wrench on that side. And I have 4 bolts total, holding it all together. And then here's the power cord, which then goes up. Line your driveway or your street for a beautiful festive scenery. Easy to store, easy to make.